Hi everyone and welcome back to Clear Pronunciation. This lesson is going to be a podcast and a video, so I will spell a few things out just for our listeners who are on the podcast. So today we're going to look at two words. The first word is this one, U-S-E, and the second word is U-S-E-D. Let's start with the first one, U-S-E. So this word, if we use it as a verb, we're going to use the Z sound for the letter S. And it will sound like this. Use. Use. For example, every day I use my phone to waste time. That's true. Now we can also say it in a sentence as a noun, and that would sound like S. That's the voiceless sound. Don't use the vocal cords. Use. Use. For example, electric cars are now in use. Listen to the difference one more time. Verb. Use. Noun, use. Now, some of you who are listening very, very carefully might be thinking that the Z sound in the verb use is not very strong, and you are completely correct. If we compare it to the Z at the beginning of the word zoo, the Z in zoo is much stronger than the Z at the end of the word use. And that's just because these types of sounds tend to get weaker when they are at the very end of a word. So you can think of it as more of a 50-50 between a Z sound and a S sound. Use. But I don't want you to worry about it too much, because it is quite a small difference. So as long as you get some kind of Z sound in there, it'll be fine. The other thing that might affect how strong the Z sounds like is what the next sound is. So for example, if the next word starts with a vowel sound, then the Z is going to naturally sort of get a stronger sort of vibration going on, because the vowel sound that comes next encourages it to be sort of louder and use more vibration. I'll give you an example. Use all of it. Use all of it. Compared with if the next sound was a consonant sound, for example, the, v in the, then we would say, use the blue one. Use the blue one. Let's listen to those two side by side for comparison. Stronger, use all of it. Weaker, use the blue one. Again, nothing to worry about, but I just wanted to mention it because I know that some of you listen very, very closely and you might be wondering about that. So the next word that we're going to look at is the U-S-E-D. And again, we have two pronunciations for the letter S. So the first one is the Z sound again, and that's going to be for the verb again, but of course this time it's the verb in the past. Could you repeat after me? Used. Used. For example, yesterday I used my phone. Now we can also pronounce this letter S with the voiceless S sound. And that would sound like used. Used. Now normally this is part of a set phrase, which is used to. Used to. If you look at the spelling, you'll notice that the D at the end of used is not really super important to be pronounced in this little phrase. So we can concentrate more on the T. Used to. Used to. For example, I used to go swimming in cold water. This means in the past, I swam in cold water. It was something I did quite often, and I don't really do it anymore. So it kind of indicates that the situation or the habit has changed. We could also say something like, this city used to be quieter, and that implies that now it's gotten busier and noisier. Used to. The problem is that there are other sentences that we can use the phrase used to in, and the meaning is completely different. And in these cases, it's where we say, I am used to something. For example, I'm used to the grey weather in the UK because I live here. We could say, that dog is used to loud noises because his owner plays the drums. Now, very confusingly, I could also give you a similar sentence to the swimming in the cold water sentence that we did before. For example, I'm used to swimming in cold water. Let's look at those two sentences side by side so that we can look at the confusing aspects. Number 1, I used to swim in cold water. That means in the past I swam in cold water quite often, and now I don't really. And number 2, I'm used to swimming in cold water. That means swimming in cold water is quite normal for me now at the moment. Look at the structure in a little bit more detail. The first one was subject, used to, verb. And we're talking about the past, remember. I used to go swimming in cold water. I used to be shorter. The city used to be quieter. Compare that to the structure of the second sentence. That's subject, be, used to, noun. And the noun could be a verb in the ing form. For example, I am used to swimming in cold water. I am used to the weather in the UK. The dog is used to loud noises. I hope that helped a little bit. I hope it helped you to clear up any confusion, but please let me know if you do have any other questions, and I will see you next time. Bye!